Orlando, you want to hit record? All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Once again, my name is Herrera, and today's date is October 22nd, 2019. And we got a special treat today. We got a good friend by the name of Michael Wilhelm. And, you know, I asked Michael if he can join us today to talk to us a little bit about, you know, what he does, but mainly the Medicare business. And, you know, I had a privilege of breaking bread with Michael several weeks ago. And, you know, as someone that has done Medicare at a high level, I believe he has a lot of knowledge to impart with everybody else in the space that's either considering doing it or maybe they're doing it now and they need maybe something extra. And Michael, part of that came out when I was talking to Juan Herrera, and he's a young guy living in Central California in his early 20s. And, you know, he's been, you know, selling insurance successfully. He's just caught on to final expense, and he got some contracts, you know, with other carriers, and he's loving it. And yesterday he brought up the Medicare. And I said, you know what? I know the perfect guy that can talk to us about this and give us some real good guidance on it. And that's you. So Juan, all right. This is Michael. And Michael, this is Juan. And also I have another gentleman that's joining us for our training today. Michael, his name is Tony Tubera out of Central California as well, the Fresno, California. So with that said, Michael, I turn it over to you. And thank you so much, sir. Can you share with us your background and then talk to us about your feelings on Medicare and, you know, just how people can be successful?
All right, will do, Laurel. Thank you. And Juan and Tony, good morning. I know it's got to be a beautiful day in California. What a lovely place you guys live. And how exciting to have in a state with such a large population of so many people that have a need for what we do. So first of all, I want to share with you my philosophy of I'm in the client acquisition business and I'm in the client retention business. So this year, if I go out and put on 100 new clients, I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that they know who Michael Wilhelm is. And when they need any type of customer service, they need any type of peace of mind, then I make sure they know how to contact me. And then I make sure that I respond as quickly as possible to put their mind at ease. And then also, whatever that need is or that question is, I want to be that agent that's going to fulfill it. So regarding final expense, we do lots of final expense. And then many times they'll be aging in and they'll ask us about Medicare. They'll ask us about, well, I'm joining my Medicare and then my wife's going to be off my group plan and I need to do something with her as well. So this is where I come in and I can do an evaluation and find the right fit for them that I can bring them peace of mind. And that is the essence of what we do for our clients, is that we're selling peace of mind. So, you know, the Medicare market is a wonderful market. The neat thing that I love about it is that the healthcare actually does get better when you join Medicare. You really have fewer co-pays and deductibles. You got the Medicare Advantage plans that include prescription drugs, which is awesome. And you got the Medicare supplement plans. You pay a monthly premium, but then you have very little co-pays and out-of-pocket expenses, and you have the freedom to go anywhere in the United States as long as that physician accepts Medicare. And so your options improve dramatically. And so in this space, there's a season, and it started just last week, October 15th, and it will run hard all the way till December 7th. And all these seniors, and I can't remember the number right now, somewhere between 40, 50, maybe 60 million seniors, have to make a decision. And so what we do to help them make that decision, the plans have to let you know what the options are by October 1st. We meet with our clients virtually between October 1st and October 15th, assess all their needs, and then when October 15th starts and it's go, I need to do something, then we can help them make those changes telephonically, or maybe if we have to go into the home. So then we've got the renewal money, the renewal people, the renewal clients completed, and then it's time to go out. As a coach that I've hired always says, you got to go out and get new money every day. And so this is the time to go out and acquire new money from referrals, from your own marketing and around where you live. So, and the neat thing about our business is that it's lifetime renewals, and they add up. You know, it's really nice to, there's times when you're sick or there's a family tragedy and you really aren't able to go to work. And it's really nice with our industry, final expense, Medicare, health insurance, that we have renewals coming in. And we'll go, thank you, dear God, that we're in this profession of helping people. And the rewards are tremendous. So, you busted hard, really hard the first couple of years. You'll reap the benefits the rest of your life. So, and these are especially exciting, and these are exciting times. And one of the reasons I say that is that we're in a population that is not diminishing. It's increasing. And there's more and more people, needing help. They're needing agents that they can go to. What happens with so many agents? They only go to work during the busy season, or they do it part time. Well, number one, it tells me they're only doing it for extra money. They're really not doing it because of the passion and the commitment of really helping people. Because to me, that's what it takes, and that's what we look for when we first bring on an agent is, what is your commitment level? Why do you want to be in this business? And for me, the why is, I've got to take care of these folks. We know that everybody has to have health insurance. We know that everybody's going to die. And so it's real simple to interact and engage with both of these products. And so we found that when we have health insurance or Medicare with them, they'll buy more life insurance from us as well, because it's that trust factor. And we're able to communicate just like we're communicating today with Orlando and Laurel and you guys. And so the relationships continue to build, and it's easier to communicate with the prospect. Actually, in a way, kind of turns into family.
Right.
And so, none of this is easy. It takes a lot of study. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of caring. It takes a lot of passion. So you just got to be willing to commit and learn your trade and do the things necessary to make sure you do a better job than anybody else taking care of your clients, and they're going to stay with you.
Amen. So and Michael, I have a question for you. I have a question for you. Now, this industry is beautiful, as you highlighted. But what kind of advice can you give, the youngsters, much like Juan and us too, man. I'm 42. I'm still young. But what kind of advice can you give us for all those guys that see Medicare and they get caught up in the allure of it? Then they see final expense and they got all these products, but they end up doing nothing. You understand? And what kind of advice would you give a new person starting out, that wants to do these products? What kind of how would you guide them in those first few months? Because as you know, we only do final expense. I don't do any Medicare, but there's a ton of cross-selling opportunity that we find once the relationship established. But for guys like Juan that have a variety of different products, right? Not just final expense, IULs, and also the Medicare stuff. What advice would you give him so he can maximize, obviously, his success?
Well, I think that question goes in a lot of directions, but if I'm brand new in the business, I know that number one, I've got a product that I like, and there was a reason that I decided to join this company, and there's a reason that I decided to passionately want to offer this product to everybody that I know. So I think to me, and what has proven successful for me is that I have to put everything that I'm going to do in writing. I'm going to have a goal sheet, an accountability sheet that I have to be truthful with first thing in the morning, and then I review it at the end of the day. And I have to take those steps every day to become successful. So that can mean as the first thing, which I'm a big believer in more than, and it's amazing the magic of writing down your goals and reading them first thing in the morning, because it will set your mind in the right direction before the world tries to set your mind in the direction that they want you to go and they want you to believe. And you don't have to believe any of the stuff that you see. The most important thing that you believe is what you believe and what you feel passionately about in your heart. And remind yourself in those goals why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because, I want to take care of my wife. I want to make sure my kids get the best education. We live in the most wonderful neighborhoods. I want to make sure that my clients have what they need. So by doing this, when times get tough, and I promise you, times get tough for everybody, and I mean everybody,
Exactly.
You sit down, you pull out your goal sheet, and you refresh your mind, and then you go back to work.
Right.
I love
and that's the perfect answer.
Work will work when nothing else will work.
Exactly. And that's the perfect answer, Michael.
Yeah, and the more you work, magic happens. It's a spiritual principle. It's biblical, and it's so simple. It's free. And just stay in control of yourself. So that would be the advice that I give that I still utilize today.
Right. Finding the passion, regardless of the product, being passionate about it, and then going and establishing that business. That's awesome. Juan and Tony, do you guys have any questions for Michael? I know we've taken several minutes of his time, but this man's someone I respect. He has thousands of agents across the nation. He's the man that you can ask about any of those other products. Do you have any questions, Juan, for him?
Well, you have a lot of valid points on what you're going over. I'm going to be quite honest with you. One of the biggest reasons why I took interest in learning that field and learning the product is more importantly, to me, of course, helping the clients, number one, but second of all, it's the residual income. I mean, I'm huge when it comes to residual income. The fact that I do work and continue to reservice client and yet still get paid 100% on the back end. It's pretty interesting to me. And, that's something that I personally want to take time to learn. But the thing is I don't want to put too much on my plate and then not be able to eat what's on my plate. You get what I'm saying? Or not know where to start. So I want to take a step at a time. First master
What
one
has
thing.
been, and Juan, what has been one of your challenges that, that you've encountered, as a youngster in the business?
Me personally, I'm gonna be honest with you, is one thing that I say a challenge for me is being able to see more people. That's the biggest thing. Being able to see more people. I believe my sales skills, they're getting better. I don't really struggle when it comes to selling, but me, it's finding what avenue, how can I work smarter but not harder? How can I work more smarter opposed to working more harder, right? So I do a whole lot of cold prospecting. I do a lot of marketing on social media, but I haven't had a whole ton of success of being able to meet with a whole lot of people. I would say that's one of my biggest struggles. And very early on, a lot of what I struggle with, I wouldn't say I struggle with it now, but more than anything, credibility, just because I'm a younger guy, right? But just like with anything though, if you learn your stuff and you end up becoming confident behind what you know. So there's times where I meet with older people and they try to say something and I actually correct them and I say, well, actually you're incorrect, sir. This is how this works. So just but I would say more than anything, Lauro, is being able to see more people has been one of my struggles, because I know at the end of the day, I could be a killer salesman and John, John could be not so much of a good salesman, but yet he sees 10 more people than I do on a weekly basis, 30 more people than I do on a month. Exactly.
It's a numbers game. And like Michael said, right, going to work. It is biblical, man. It's good. What do you think of his struggle? Michael, what do you think of his struggle? What advice can you share with Juan with his number one struggle?
You know what? I heard Tony Robbins get asked that same question years ago when he first started out. And I don't know if Juan, if you know who Tony Robbins is, but he used to live in San Diego and is probably the greatest educator of mindset, skill set in, I believe, the world. And they asked him about his age, and he said, my age, I have more exuberance, more vitality, I could see more people, and age is just a number, but he says, I deliver results. So I don't have an education like you do, but I deliver results. And so he went to work harder, he got up earlier, he worked later, until he, kept practicing his trade. And then he got on fire with enthusiasm, and the whole world comes to watch him burn. And so I would get rid of the age. I would get rid of the age factor, get that completely out of your mind, and I would focus on your skill set. Because age really, that's only in your mind. It's an objection in your own mind. We see it every day. Young people, just like you, who are doing extremely well. They're very skilled in their craft, and they communicate that skill set very well to their prospects that become clients. So that would be my thought process on that. Get rid of that thought process. Write down your goals. And then, I was fortunate many years ago when I was in the business market selling sales training and seminars for a living. My boss made us do 20 cold calls face-to-face to new businesses on a daily basis. We had to go out and prospect for 100 new clients every week. And it's amazing what happened. And I was a young guy then. I think I was 24, 25 years old, meeting with business people. But I had something that they needed. And I could present it better than anybody else. And that's the way that I looked at it.
Wow.
So, I'm 70 years young, and, I could go into a home and people are going, what's this old guy doing here? He's probably forgotten most everything, and I don't look at things that way. I look at it, I'm going to present to you better than anybody else on the planet. I'm going to do it more passionately than anybody else on the planet. And if you don't do business with me, I don't know what the next skill set of the person that's going to come in here, but they're not going to be as good and as caring and loving and kind as I am.
Wow.
So that's how I approach it. I get rid of all the thought process. Only focus on what you want and the direction that you want to go. Period. We call it the positive point. The positive point.
Right. Great.
So if you don't mind, can I tell a quick little story here? Can I
Absolutely, Michael.
Story here?
Yeah.
Okay.
We appreciate your time, brother. So.
Okay. So envision yourself being in Colorado, and you're going to go do some whitewater rapids, and you and your group and your family come up to get into the boat, the inner tube or whatever it is that they call it. And the rapids on a scale of 1 to 5 are at a 5. And then you say, oh boy, I think the rapids are too high. We better cancel. But the guide says, no, my job is to successfully get you from here to there, period. And so when they get into the boat, the raft, that's what it is, the raft. And the lesson learned here is that you've got your family on board and you're going down the rapids and you've got a guide behind you, and the guide is directing you which way to paddle. Now, if he says, watch out for that stump or watch out for that rock, guess what's going to happen? Everybody in the raft is going to look at the rock, they're going to look at the stump, and they're most likely going to paddle in that direction to begin with. So when the guide sees the stump or he sees the rock, he instructs you and your family to paddle this way, paddle your left, paddle to your right. You don't see the rock, you don't see the stump. So your goal is to successfully paddle your family safely down the river. So always only focus on the positive point, and do that with your clients as well. Give them, people love stories. This is one of my all-time favorite stories.
Yeah, that's a great story, Michael. Wow.
And this is what I'm going to do for you as your agent.
Right. That's exactly it. Well, thank you for that. Tony, do you have any questions?
And then there's lots of ways to meet people. Sit down and go online. Don't make your total focus on social media right now. It's got to be a part of it, but there's other parts of marketing that are available that are still doing well. You just may not be focused on them, may not be in front of you. So I would find a couple of ways that you can get yourself in front of 20 new people every day. 20 new people every day. 100 new prospects a week. And you may struggle for a few weeks, but if you'll keep your positive point on where you're going, only focus on your positive point, and you don't quit rowing, you're going to get there, because you're going to have a breakthrough. And the dam will flood you with opportunity. So piece of advice, all of this is free. And, you're in great hands here with Orlando and Laurel as well. They're just doing an amazing job, and they're really headed in the right direction, because I believe that as they do, that technology is changing quickly, and the world of an agent will change dramatically in the next 5 years. And I believe that the strong will survive without a doubt. But I love the virtual world. I mean, this is at 70. This is the direction that we're taking everybody in our organization. So I have such an
Wow, that's
attraction
impressive.
factor to Laurel and Orlando, and they're passionate and they're caring, and they want you to succeed. So
right, it's this business is built on relationships, Michael, and nurturing those relationships long term. It's a long term business. So it's you're right, and using technology like virtual, I believe it's only making those connections with other humans closer to be able to connect with Miss Betty up in Maine, right? And I'm up here in Northern California, and I believe the same thing. Well, Michael, I appreciate your time, truly. I really appreciate your time, and I thank you. And I just wanted to give Tony one opportunity. Tony, do you have any questions for Michael before we get started with our training and let Michael get, no? Good stuff.
No, because
Michael,
I hear what he's saying, and I know, that applies anywhere. So I was more interested. You said he had thousands of agents under him, and I'm pretty positive same concept, X amount of contacts per day and just keep going. And eventually you teach other people to do it and it grows, so.
It really does. It really does. Well, Michael, thank you once again. We're going to get started on training here with these guys, and I appreciate you. Thank you, Michael. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Now we on our way to greatness. And all that ever took was patience. I used to feel so devastated.